Why spend thousands on a basic will when you can get access to legal help for around $1 a day? With Legal Shield, you can put a full estate plan in place, including a will, health directives, and powers of attorney to help protect your family and hard-earned assets. Sign up today at LegalShield.com and get 10% off our annual plans. It's finally simple and affordable. Legal Shield. Real lawyers, really affordable. Sign up at LegalShield.com. That's LegalShield.com. Legal Shield does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and Andy's back here with me.
I am here, Michael.
Welcome back, Andy. Did you enjoy your week off?
I did. I was at a birthday party.
Man.
My stepdaughter turned 18. She is an adult. Welcome to adult life, girl.
Right. Yeah, have fun.
No one cares anymore.
Nope. And now you know what you're doing, so there you go.
Get out. Get out.
But yeah, man, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, last week's episode was a little different. If you guys haven't listened to it, but there was so much audio available, and it was so helpful in telling the story that I felt like, we wouldn't have a lot of time to banter and talk anyways. You know what I'm saying? But this week we definitely do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're talking a case that's a few years old, but it is back in the headlines. And mainly because there's going to be a Netflix doc coming out about it. Well, when you guys are hearing this on the free platform, it came out yesterday, Wednesday, which is what is it, Andy? July 28th?
29th, I think?
What am I talking about? 29th. Yeah. July 29th, 2026. And, of course, this episode was released at midnight on the 29th. So, but we're recording on Monday before the doc comes out. Mm-hmm. And I think, like Netflix docs do, right? They're going to put a bunch of shade on the verdict, right? They're going to be like, they're going to hopefully propose different scenarios, another suspect maybe, or they're going to propose the idea that it was more people, or whatever.
Or they'll do the Netflix thing where they focus in on one kind of insignificant piece of evidence or subject matter for way too long, making you think that this is going to be the thing that cracks the case.
Exactly.
And then like 3/4 of the way through, they're like, nope. And now let's keep going. And
anyways, but I say all that to say this, guys. It's about Bryan Kohberger, and they're going to try to find a way to make him look innocent, and he's not, okay?
I don't think so.
Just don't let them fool you. Right? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that before it comes out, they're going to come out with some bullshit because that's what Netflix does. They're going to try to do the same thing they did with The Crash.
Oh, fuck.
Remember The Crash? Yeah. They did. They tried to make, she passed out. And no, man. No. This is cut and dry.
Right.
You just have a bunch of people that say otherwise that are on her side for whatever reason. And you got the same thing here with Kohberger, dude.
I don't know how you can really I'm waiting to see what the real defense is of him. Because so far the defense has been just like, we'll talk about more into it. It's been very lackadaisical, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Basically, they were like, do you want to die? No? Then take a plea deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, today we're talking about the Idaho murders, the Moscow murders, not to be confused with Moscow, Russia.
Yeah, it's spelled
it's Moscow. It is spelled exactly the same.
But that's just old America being like, well, we can't. That's Cold War. We had to switch our pronunciation.
No. It's Moscow.
It was originally Moscow, and then during the Cold War, I was being like, it's Moscow.
It's Moscow?
Moscow.
Sounds better with Idaho anyways. But sometime around 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022, a man in dark clothing and a ski mask entered a house in Moscow, Idaho, where 6 University of Idaho students lived off campus. He methodically went from one room to another, and he ended up stabbing 4 students in their rooms before retreating into the night out the back glass sliding door. There were 2 survivors. One of them saw the man as he left. Now, in the 4 years since this crime took place, prosecutors have still not been able to prove a motive. There's lots of speculation, and I think we'll talk about it. You can pretty much guess a motive, but they haven't been able to pin one down in court, at least, right? But they have presented pretty damning evidence against Bryan Kohberger, and he was eventually charged with the crime. And he happened to be a criminology student, which I find is hilarious.
Right?
A PhD in criminology as well.
Getting that doctorate.
Yeah, a lot of good that did him.
Man, when you first described just that opening paragraph, you just anybody who's in the true crime world, just their brain probably goes back to Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Like it's so similar, and that they made those comparisons when this happened and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, God damn, history does sometimes repeat itself.
And unfortunately, this psychopath would take that as a compliment.
Probably.
That's why, I don't even want to make that connection. But yeah, I honestly, I don't think he went in there like Ted did to just slaughter everyone. I think he had one person in mind, and other people just kind of got in the way and or saw him.
Yep.
Right. All right, well, let's roll that intro, Andy, and let's get into it.
Will do.
Haley went upstairs and she screamed because someone in the room. She ran downstairs, and I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And then I saw the guy, and I came up the door, and I ran downstairs. We don't know what's going on. All I heard was her go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs. All
you heard who go upstairs?
Haley and the dog Murphy. And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up. I heard her scream, and she ran upstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask that was just covering his forehead and his mouth. And we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and it was weird because none of our roommates were up, and we called all of them. They were not waking up, and so me and like, this is weird.
How old is Kaylee?
Over 21. I believe she's 21 or 22.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing. And I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize saying, you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way. It was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
You're going to be okay. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's meet our victims. Madison Mogan was 21 years old. Kaylee Gonzalez was 21. Xana Kernodle was 20, and Ethan Chapin was 20 as well. Xana Kernodle and Ethan were in a relationship. Now, the four had spent, a pretty typical Saturday night out near the university campus. They were hitting some bars, hitting some food trucks, talking with some friends. And they were out for a while. They were actually caught on security camera. All this was documented. And before they went back to their house around 2 a.m. Now, more than an hour later, a white car was seen in surveillance video. It was taken by cameras in the neighborhood that they lived in. It was on another house. The house was on a dead-end street, but the white car, which was a Hyundai Elantra, we later found out, could be seen passing the house by several times, including once at 4:04 a.m. when the car did a 3-point turn near the house.
Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that it did end up parking, too. They get that on camera.
All right, so obviously, the driver of this car is the person who enters the house.
Yeah.
Right? Spoiler alert. And one of the victims, Xana, was awake at this time. She had just received a DoorDash order from Jack in the Box, okay, at 4 a.m.
Damn. All right, Jack in the Box.
And her phone activity indicated that she had been using TikTok while waiting on the order, right? Now, Dylan Mortensen, she was one of the surviving housemates. She reported being awake around that time as well. And she told the police that she heard sounds upstairs, but she thought it was just Kaylee playing with her dog, because Kaylee Gonzalez and Maggie were on the very top. Yeah. Maddie, were on the very top floor, the third floor. And she said she also heard what sounded like crying coming from Xana's room down the hall from her own room on the second floor, along with a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." But in more of like a creepy way. Yeah, not a way that you would trust somebody.
No, in a very uncertain way, like, don't worry, I'm going to help you. Like, it was just one of those, like, I don't think you're going to help.
I don't think you're going to help me. Yeah.
No.
But then at 4:17 a.m., a security camera in the area captured distorted audio of what sounded like a whimper and then a thud. And also a dog was heard barking, which we know they had a dog in the apartment.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody thought that a lot of the commotion upstairs was just Kaylee playing with her dog, right? So, and as far as we know, the dog wasn't harmed.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was barking the entire time. But, actually, really, it wasn't. It did bark a lot on the camera. I have watched this surveillance footage, and it did bark a lot, but it still didn't sound alarmed. It didn't sound aggressive.
Yeah.
It just sounded like it heard something, right? Mm-hmm. But around this time, Mortensen said that she looked out her bedroom door to check on the noises, and she was shocked when she saw a man standing there wearing black clothes and a ski mask. She said the mask covered her forehead. It covered his forehead and his mouth, and he had bushy eyebrows. She said he walked past her toward the sliding glass door at the back of the house. She went inside her room. She shut the door. She locked it. She tried texting and calling her roommates that are on the floor with her and also on the third floor, but obviously at this point, they were already gone.
Yeah. And she waits a long time too. Like they say that's 8 hours before 911 is called, which they give her like some people give her some shit for, but then like psychologists and other people have come to her defense and been like, yeah, she actually was probably in shock.
She was.
So there's actually no real protocol for what she would do.
Also, I know it's strange to see a stranger in your house, but when you live on off-campus housing with other college students and stuff, they're bringing friends in, they're bringing acquaintances in, people they're in and out of relationships with or whatnot. Like they're bringing people into this building, and you really don't have a say, right? It's like you're all equal. So it's like if I want to have a friend over at our house that we rent together, Andy, right? I don't have to tell you.
No,
I don't have to ask you. So it's not. It probably wasn't strange for them to have people they didn't know or recognize in their house.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. I mean, it's a college house, Andy. I mean, I lived off campus for a little while at college. It was kind of nuts.
Yeah,
like,
and
there's no rules.
It's a house of all girls. All the girls live there,
right?
And
the one girl has her boy, and Ethan's there,
and Ethan is staying over for the night. So I mean, it's nothing. It's probably not unheard of for one of these girls to wake up and see a guy maybe going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, or walking through the hallway, maybe leaving, or kind of sneaking out type deal.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's probably not unheard of. That might have happened before.
No. Also, girls were interviewed that lived in that house before, and they said that they felt like things were weird in that house. Like, for instance, they would lock the glass sliding door, and then they would get up in the middle of the night to find it unlocked or cracked.
Really?
And then sometimes there were other women who reported saying they felt like they were being watched. They felt like things were being moved around in their house. Mm-hmm. So, dude, it's total speculation. But Kohberger could have been coming in and out of this house for years trying to get the nerve to do this.
There's speculation that he did go in the house, maybe at least once before. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it also kind of leans towards he didn't know the layout of the house exactly, or like where his target was. So it's like maybe he did kind of come in the house and didn't know, but he ran into somebody, had to kill Xana first, then tried to go find the room that he thought his target was in. But
he goes past Dylan Mortensen's room and never even tries to go in her room. And she's on you know what I'm saying? He had to go past the whole second floor. I think he knew that he was headed to the third floor.
That there is a definite possibility.
I think he came there. I think he came there for Kaylee.
Yeah, that's kind of what the leading theory might be.
And we'll talk more about that.
But it's I don't think he knew who all was there. I don't think he knew what time they had all gotten home or not. He didn't know if they were all still awake. So it seems like he went in slightly prepared, but not prepared for what he ran into.
Right. Now, you also have to consider that all of them are drunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
They are. They all tested high blood alcohol levels. They're all drunk at this point, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to victim blame or anything. It's just a fact of why they would be less alert.
Yeah, you're ordering Jack in the Box at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
that's a drunk decision.
It's okay.
It's not a sober decision.
In college. They're 20 years old, right?
Not a sober decision.
So, but Dylan Mortensen, so she goes back into her room, right? She doesn't get any message. She doesn't get any text messages back from her roommates on the second floor or the third floor. So she messages their other roommate downstairs, Bethany. She lives on the first floor. writing that she was freaking out because she saw someone outside her door. And Bethany told her, run down to me in my room and let's basically hold up together if you feel unsafe, right? So that's what they did. She ran down there. They locked the door together and stayed in the room, which is smart, right? There's safety in numbers. And then, and I get why people argue. They're like, okay, well, if you felt so unsafe that you guys had to hole up in a room, why didn't you call 911 then?
Yeah.
Well, because, and she says this to the officer, she's like, nothing happens in Moscow. You know what I mean? Like, and you also got to understand, these are 20, 21-year-old kids, man. They think they know how the world works, but they really don't. They think that all these horrible things, they happen to other people, right?
Yeah.
You feel invincible. You feel a lot like you do as a teenager. And then you feel like you're constantly connected because you have your phone. It's like, what bad could happen, right? I could film it.
Yeah.
I'll get people off of me, and I have my friends with me all the time. And it's just, you hate to think that worst case scenario happened. And she went to bed knowing that all of her friends were damn near blackout drunk and probably passed out and wanted to rest.
Yeah.
So she waited till 11 in the morning, probably just to be sure. I mean, just, you don't want to, you don't want to sound the alarm for nothing, but gosh, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. What could she, there's really nothing she could have done then.
Okay. So she calls 911 right when it happens.
He's already gone.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. He's gone, and it's not going to save anyone's lives.
No one's life is being saved if she calls 911 as soon as she gets down there.
These were brutal stabbings. Multiple wounds to the face, head, neck, chest. Like, he was not messing around.
One of the craziest things that I remember from this case was they said that there was so much blood in the house, like in the rooms that he committed these crimes in, that it was literally leaking like through the floor and out the side of the house.
Yeah.
To where it looked like the house itself was bleeding.
It was like coming out below the siding onto the cinder block foundation.
Yeah. It had like kind of seeped into the floor and kind of made its way out. But yeah, there was so much blood, the blood leaked out of the house.
That's insane.
So it was just one of those things you're like, oh my God, that's like something out of a Jason movie. That's like a Freddy Krueger type kill.
It sounds like an exaggeration.
Yeah.
It does, but it is the reality. Yes.
Yeah, like that's one of those things where it's like there was so much blood, it was leaking out of the house. It was. That's crazy.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
But at 11:56 a.m., more than 7 hours later, Bethany finally called 911 after a friend arrived at the house and discovered one of the victims. The 911 call conveyed a very frantic effort to understand what had transpired. One person said a roommate was drunk last night and she's not waking up. And Bethany said, if I had known, of course I would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much regret and guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away. Even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, by the time she could have called, the damage had been done.
Exactly. So when the cops show up, one of the first pieces of evidence they actually find at the scene is a knife sheath for a K-bar, which is a U.S. Marine Corps issued knife, and is lying on the bed next to Madison, who was found dead in the same bed as her friend Kaylee Gonsalves, who I believe was the original target. Of course, we have no way to prove that, but let's just talk about that for a second. Kaylee, if you look at her Instagram, you look at her social media pages, Bryan was all over him. Okay, he had sent her DMs. He had liked multiple photos of hers, including ones where she is in a bathing suit, you know what I'm saying, on the beach, in the pool, whatever. And he was clocked being in that, or not clocked, but he was spotted or documented being in that area multiple times in the months leading up to the murders, coming by there. So he obviously had a check on her, and then it's just no accident that he kills her first.
Yeah.
He went all the way. Now the sliding glass doors he comes in, you come in on the second floor because it's a split level house. So if you go in the front, you're actually on the first floor, right?
Yep.
But the way the house is built into the hill, you go up around the back and now you're in the second.
Yep.
Right? And then you can go up to the third from there. So he comes in on the second floor and leaves both of those rooms alone at first. At least until he
comes back and finds Xana.
Yes, until Xana comes out to get her DoorDash order. Right. So naturally, at this point, the crime scene is roped off. The bodies are collected and sent to the county coroner's office. And it didn't take them long to figure out that a knife, very much like a K-bar, was used in these killings. Now, no knife has ever been found.
No.
But the sheath is everything.
Yeah.
The sheath is everything.
Which is kind of, it's like,
weird. Why would you take the sheath?
I don't think he meant to. I think he probably had the sheath like on his belt or just in his pocket. Like, he probably had that like in there. And possibly one of the girls fought back hard enough that it got ripped off.
Oh, definitely.
And
definitely.
it fell off.
There was a serious commotion.
So, but even so, because I have one of those knives, actually, I bought it at a flea market, but it has like a spot for your belt to go through if you want to wear it. Like it's genuinely meant to be worn, but I'm thinking he may have just had it in like his pocket or like
probably,
or just stuck in there in the sheath, and he pulled the whole thing out and just forgot it.
Yep. And all the commotion, he just left it behind. So, in addition to the sheath, after checking surveillance footage, investigators started searching for the white car that we were talking about because they immediately noticed the white Hyundai Elantra in the vicinity, hours before and then right around the time it had to have happened. So, the police at Washington State University found a white Elantra registered there and identified the owner as Bryan Kohberger. But they still needed more, right? So they're like, let's just watch this guy. Let's just see. Let's check out his social media. We're not going to make an arrest yet until the DNA from the sheath came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they test the DNA from the knife sheath, and it didn't match anyone already in the law enforcement database. So investigators had to test it a little further. And that eventually gave a more detailed profile that the authorities could use for genetic genealogy, right? But they still needed something to test it against. So they actually end up finding Kohberger at his father's house and basically taking a can or something out of the trash. What was it?
It was some kind of trash that his dad threw away because they said that during shortly after the murders happened, Bryan contacts his father and says he's in trouble with his job and that he basically just needs to come back home for a while.
Yeah.
And so his dad comes all the way out there and then drives back home with him, and on the way home from Moscow or from where they had Pullman, I think is where he lives.
Yeah.
On the way home, they get pulled over twice by cops, and both
for
times
tailgating.
Yeah,
of all things,
because he's going too fast. Basically, he's trying to get there. He's not speeding, but he's just not. He's driving a little recklessly.
Oh yeah.
And then both times he acts totally fine. But I'm like, dude, I would have let your dad drive still either way. But
right. And it kind of helped him, I think, to have his dad in the car, kind of, because his dad did a lot of the talking to the cops, because the cop came up on the passenger side where his father was riding. So he kind of had the benefit of that, right? And then, of course, his dad's not nervous. He doesn't know that his son just killed 4 people.
Yeah, he has no idea.
So he's calm and cool and collective. Like, he's talking to this cop great.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just this guy's dad. I'm just an old dad.
Right, exactly. So later that year in December, investigators obtained mobile phone records showing that on the night of the killings, Kohberger's phone stopped connecting to cellular networks at 2:47 a.m. That's weird.
Yeah, kind of when he was at home.
Yeah, or right before. This is right before his car started showing up on the surveillance video. A little after 3, you start seeing that Hyundai Elantra pulling through the parking lot. He's doing his little runs. Man.
Yeah,
he's coming to see.
I think he's only 10 miles or 10-15 minutes away.
And this surveillance footage, there are videos that go all the way back to 2 a.m. And it's very eerie because on that video, you hear a lot of screaming. Honestly, there's a lot of random screaming. There's dogs barking. But like I said, this is a college neighborhood, right? This might well be like an off-campus dorm.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? A lot of college kids here, a lot of kids out partying. This is a Saturday night. So I personally didn't think a lot about that. But it was interesting to see how far back they went, and people are trying to tie that in.
Yeah.
People are trying to say, oh, look, listen, hear these voices? It's like, yeah, 2 hours before the murder happened. What?
Yeah.
What? They're outside probably.
Or they're just laughing and they're having a good time when they came home and goofing off.
It's weird. I don't know what those noises were, but they were weird too.
I don't know if you know this. Sometimes drunk white girls scream.
Yeah.
They will holler. So known to happen.
Woo girl is a phrase for a reason.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But his phone reconnected to the network at 4:48 a.m. when he was south of Moscow. And then it followed a route back to Pullman later that morning. So, he leaves about 4:19, 4:20-ish from the murder scene and doesn't turn his phone back on until he's almost 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm. Until he's actually outside strategic. Of town.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even want to be in that 30-minute window, But his phone's history also reflected that had been in the area of the house 12 times in the months before the murders. Like I referenced earlier. 12 times, dude. He was scoping this place out. I'm telling you. He's been inside that house.
I do agree at least once.
Okay, also, something else. I forgot this. When I was talking about some people that had lived in the house earlier, a lot of people complained about that back door being janky.
Yeah.
They said that even if you locked it, if you were to shake it at just the right angle or whatever, the lock would delatch.
Yeah.
And you could open it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a shitty gate or something like that where you can just kind of rattle it back and forth in the lock.
I don't know about you, but I have never trusted a sliding door.
No.
That's what you do, guys. You cut a piece of fucking broom handle that fits into the gap, and you put it in the gap behind the door.
Yeah.
I know. It's simple, effective.
Mm-hmm.
Very effective.
Get a 2x4, drop it down there.
Yeah, put that shit in there when you go to bed. Boom, the door can't slide open.
No.
I know. I'm just saying, that would have saved lives in this scenario. It's simple, but it would have.
Yeah. But I was thinking one thing too. This is one thing that I kept thinking about during this case because it's like he's getting his doctorate in criminology or something like that, right?
I think he already had his PhD at this time.
Yeah, he's like a PhD student, or he's like a grad student or something.
Teaching assistant.
Yeah, he's a teaching assistant, and it's just like the fact that he's still. It's so kind of telling of a generation. The fact that he still brought his phone with him, like to the murder. Like, well, I turned it off and then I turned it back on. Like when I was just outside town, it's like, do you not think that looks fucking suspicious?
I know.
Why did you if you were going back home, just leave your phone at home?
Yeah.
And no, it's one of those things. I mean, like, I'm not trying to give advice here, but it's like, dude, it's kind of silly to think it's like, dude, you were studying criminology and you still thought you're such like a Gen Zer that you're like, well, I got to bring my phone. Like, how would I know how to get home?
Yeah, what happens if?
Like, how do
what if I break down?
Yeah, how do I?
What if I get lost?
Apple Maps doesn't. I don't know how to get
right.
Like, I've only driven this way with Apple Maps telling me where to go. I don't actually know the way.
Right. No, I know it is weird. It is weird. But honestly, dude, it's that sheath that messed him up. Without the sheath, no one can put him in the house.
Nope, they cannot. And that's the one that you said that's like the one of the first pieces of evidence they find. It's one of the only pieces of evidence they really find.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty much circumstantial, but it's damn good circumstantial in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when he's doing all this traveling with his dad, this is just, 5 days after the killings, he already has a new tag on his car. He already has a Washington State license plate. Mm-hmm. He's already swapped that thing out. But it doesn't really help because, like I said, the police tested DNA samples taken from the trash on December 30th at Kohberger's family's home in Pennsylvania. And he was immediately, once the DNA came back and it was a match, it was like 5-point-something quintillion times more likely to be him than anybody else on the planet. I mean, not 100%, but I mean, good God.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying? Like
1 in a million.
I'd bet
not
on
even.
I'd bet on it. But so yeah, he is arrested on December 30th, 2022, in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, for the murders of the University of Idaho students. He's charged with burglary and 4 counts of first-degree murder.
That's first degree.
That's right. Yes. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I don't think this was his first burglary. I really don't. I think he was he was doing some burglary and some smaller, like most of the criminals, right? And I think that's what made him so brazen. I think that's why you see these selfies and he's like wearing this black hood and he's like trying to look all mysterious and dark. You know, I think him sneaking around and watching these girls and spying on them and shit, it kind of embolstered him.
Yeah,
to finally do this.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Right. So let's back up a little bit and let's learn a little bit about Kohberger and who he is, at least as much as I could find out. As a teenager, he wrote about his struggles a lot online, you know, through blogs, on social media, you know, little short video logs, whatever. But he talked about his struggles with disassociation, suicidal thoughts, a lack of emotion, and lack of remorse. And in 2018, he described to a friend a nearly lifelong struggle with depression, but said he was doing well and he had stopped using heroin, so that helped.
That's a big. That's such a like a little like weird compliment / just dive of an emotion. It's like I've been dealing with a lot of depression for a long time, but I did stop doing heroin, and that's pretty. Hold on, which one do I process first here? How long were you doing?
Yeah, he wasn't very shy about his heroin use. It's kind of weird.
A lot of heroin addicts aren't.
Yeah, he kind of wore that as a badge of honor, I guess. I don't know.
You start taking enough heroin, it's noticeable.
Yeah,
you can't really hide it very well.
But later on in life, he developed an interest in criminals, telling one friend that he saw himself one day working with high-profile offenders. He enrolled at DeSales University, a Catholic institution in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, where he studied under Catherine Ramsland. She's a forensic psychologist whose books include The Mind of a Murderer and How to Catch a Killer. Then he received a bachelor's degree from DeSales in 2020 and completed a master's degree in June of 2022. A lot of good that did.
Right? Doing a lot of work with that.
Yeah, really. But in the months before the killings on Reddit, a user who identified himself as Bryan Kohberger, and, you know, this is months before the killing, so he has no reason to lie about his name, right? It's not like a copycat or somebody trying to be funny.
Nope. No. Yeah, I think one of the sisters goes back and finds this. I think it's is it Kaylee's sister who goes back and
I believe so.
Who's like she goes back and goes into full detective
she's super
mode.
Active about the case. Yeah, she is full on web sleuth, and she'll be in the documentary for sure.
Yeah, she was in the 48 Hours special a lot, and they talk about how she went into full detective mode. She was the one that found the cell phone records immediately. She found like the surveillance footage from the neighbors before the cops even did. So it's like I think that she's like the same person who went on there, found these Reddit posts. Because I think it got taken down eventually.
Right, of course.
So, but she did find them, and she was like, no, he was on Reddit asking these questions months ago.
Yeah, he was basically asking ex-prisoners about their crimes. He wanted to know their thought process, their emotions, their actions from beginning to end. One of the weirdest ones was how they chose their victims How they chose their victims, that's right. Yeah.
How they chose their victims and why.
I'm sure that was an interesting discussion board. Downvote that shit. But in the fall semester of 2022, Kohberger began studying at Washington State. One classmate recalled the days before the killings that Kohberger had been highly engaged in a discussion about forensics, DNA, and other evidence that prosecutors used to win convictions. And then after the killings, he was just still grading papers in his job as a teaching assistant.
Yeah.
Although this job was very rocky at this time. Okay.
I believe it.
He had been written up multiple times. And you know, when he told his dad, you know, that he was coming back home because of job issues, he wasn't lying. Yeah. He really was having some work issues. That wasn't his biggest issues.
That wasn't like the main issue.
Yeah, that wasn't the main thing.
He told a truth.
A truth, exactly. He really was. Because he had gotten in trouble multiple times for sexual harassment, treating female students unfairly, like just overall just being creepy.
Yeah, just inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, they're like, you can't be a teaching assistant and act this way.
No.
You just can't do it. He's showing favoritism in classes and stuff like that, dude. It's just weird.
I feel like, and this might be a slight, this is pure speculation and a little bit of my personal tangent.
Okay.
I feel like Bryan Kohberger kind of saw himself as almost like he thought he was going to be like a Dexter type character, or he was going to be some sort of like famous, like he said he was going to work with high profile like offenders and stuff like that. Like he thought he was going to be like the Mindhunter guy, or he thought he was going to be, like I said, like Dexter. Like he was going to be a killer who also helped solve crimes as like a criminologist.
Yeah, except for you kill young girls.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, he doesn't have like the
for sexual
good,
pleasure.
He doesn't have like
killers.
He's not like I said. He's not like the Dexter real mentality.
Right.
But he was kind of looking at this idea of like, well, if I become a criminologist, I'll know all the ways to get away with crimes, and I'll work with all these criminals, and I'll learn everything, and then I can use that and implement that knowledge to commit crimes, and then help solve other crimes, but then these crimes they'll never solve.
Yeah, until you fuck up on your first crime.
Until you fuck up on your first day.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad he did, though. I mean, I wish he would have fucked up worse and got caught when he was snooping around. You know?
I wish he would have like tripped through the glass door.
Yeah,
have one of those like those 1,000 ways to die.
Yeah, like one
type
of those
deaths.
like he gets killed on a shard of glass.
Yeah, just slips, head goes through the sliding glass door, decapitates him.
But you know what though? I kind of like the treatment he's getting in prison. And we're going to talk about that. He's bitched a lot about being in prison. He thinks like he's owed something.
I'm sure he's a bitch in prison.
Oh yeah, he's still an entitled bitch, bro.
Oh yeah, that too.
He writes in all the time like, "Can I see your manager?"
I just meant he was somebody's bitch.
Oh yeah, definitely, bro.
Sold! Here are the keys to your new home. New beginnings sound exciting. From a new marriage to a new home, having access to legal help comes in handy. With Legal Shield, you can connect with a designated law firm that knows your state laws, helping with prenups, real estate contracts, and even wills and estate planning, starting around $1 a day. Legal Shield. Real lawyers, really affordable. For 10% off your annual subscription, sign up at LegalShield.com today. That's LegalShield.com. Legal Shield does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
But I mean, to be fair, he was into that. He was into sexual assault type like porn and shit. Like there was tons of searches where he was searching for women in situations where they were restricted. They could not move. They could not get out of it, or they were unconscious. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of evidence of that, and that's what he was trying to create.
There's again whole different scenarios of consent and kinks, and people can be into S&M and
absolutely
and C&C type stuff, but it's all about consent, and it's a fantasy type thing. It's not a real thing.
Right. So we fast forward to November 19th, 2024. Kohberger can now face the death penalty if convicted. And obviously, Kohberger's defense team wanted to remove that option, should he be convicted. But Ada County Judge Stephen Hippler denied their motions in his ruling dated Tuesday. The prosecution has said that it intends to seek the death penalty if Kohberger is convicted. In Idaho, they want to show off that new death penalty because they just they changed some laws, and now they have like different death penalties. You can get like firing squad and lethal injection.
So pick your poison type.
Yeah. Literally. Which one do you want? But Kohberger's attorneys argued that forcing inmates to wait years on death row and then the methods available in Idaho specifically were constitutionally cruel and unusual. They also argued that Idaho's death penalty laws violate an international treaty banning the torture of prisoners.
Hey, we're not.
I don't know about all that.
It's not. Listen. America knows torture.
All right.
This isn't
Idaho. Like, come on. You ever been to Texas prison? You ever been to Florida prison, bro? Fuck off.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Send his ass right on down to Florida, bro.
You want to know about torture?
He wants to be Ted Bundy. Go be Ted Bundy, bitch.
You ever heard of Guantanamo?
Right. Seriously. But ultimately, to avoid death, Kohberger accepts a plea deal. Right? He admitted to the slayings of the 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. He pled guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count burglary. And on July 23rd of 2025, he was sentenced to 4 life sentences. Now, the surviving roommates and families of the victims delivered emotional statements in the courtroom. A lot of that is available on YouTube. I tried to post every source that I could find for this case, but there is so much information out there, guys. You could talk about this case forever. I just wanted to give you guys a good review, a good summary of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right? I know when this Netflix documentary comes out, there's going to be this, what about this, what about that? Don't let them fool you.
No.
All right?
He took a plea deal.
They don't got anything that anybody else doesn't have. They're just going to try to shoot it in a different light. But for this episode, I want to end it talking about the victims.
Yeah.
Right? The 4 people who lost their lives. And this is just a little bit of information about who they were. It's so easy that when there's multiple victims, it's easy for it to be a statistic. It's easy to make it too much about the killer. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I want to do. I can't stand Kohberger. I think he's a fucking douche. I hope he gets absolutely destroyed in prison. Somebody's going to get to him.
Oh, yeah.
In my research, I found out one interviewer had a like prison specialist on where he's written multiple books about prison life and an organization, and he follows like famous people who go to, or famous killers, rather, or infamous killers that go to prison, like Chris Watts, for instance. Apparently, Chris Watts got abused pretty damn bad.
Really?
So fuck him. Like to the point where he had to be moved. Like he has been.
Yeah, he's on like protection.
Yeah, he is a broken man. Good.
Yeah, he's been broken like a horse.
But yeah, so let's talk about the victims. Madison Mogan. She went by Maddie. She was a senior from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. She was majoring in marketing. Her grandmother, Kim Cheeley, said that Madison had always been a gentle and caring person who kept many long-term friendships and close ties with an extended family. And then you got Kaylee Gonzalez, who was from Rothrum, Idaho. She had planned to move after graduation to Austin, Texas, with one of her close friends. The friend was Jordan Quesno. Miss Gonzalez had secured a position with a marketing firm and was excited to explore more of the country. Damn, already got a job, man. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And Kaylee and Maddie had been lifelong best friends. Yes. Like they had grown up together. They had chosen to go to college together. They were roommates, basically. That's why they were in the same like twin bed.
Yes.
And in one of the 48 hours things, it's like Maddie was on the outside. I think Kaylee was on the inside because the bed was kind of in a corner. Mm-hmm. And it's like Maddie was attacked first, and Kaylee was basically trapped.
Yeah.
Like on the bed.
Right.
So it's like they were in the bed together because they were just, like she said, lifelong friends.
It's lifelong friends.
They were basically sisters.
Yep. Then you had Ethan Chapin. He was from Conway, Washington. He was one of a set of triplets, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a brother and a sister who actually don't look like him. I mean, they look alike. They look like siblings, but they don't look like or triplets.
No, they're more like fraternal triplets.
Even the boys don't look alike, though.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, I thought it was funny. Like, Ethan is like probably 4 or 5 inches taller than his brother.
Mm-hmm. Fraternal twins can be all kinds of different.
Yeah, no doubt.
Or fraternal triplets, twins, whatever.
Yeah. But the day before the killings, he spent almost a whole day with his siblings, who are also University of Idaho students. Their mother, Stacy Chapin, said on the evening of the murders, they all attended a dance held by his sister's sorority. And Xana Kernodle grew up in Idaho, but had spent time in Arizona in recent years, according to an interview that her father, Jeffrey Kernodle, gave to Arizona. He told the station that his daughter was strong-willed and had enjoyed having an independent life in college, and he was grateful to know her as long as he did. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only attitude a lot of these parents can take. You know, it's like, God, your child just became an adult.
But yeah,
you were just getting to know who they were. You know, who are they becoming, and they were taken so quickly. It's like, you know, all these other parents, they don't have two other kids that are the same age.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of keeps them going, keeps them distracted, right? I'm not saying...
Nothing will ever replace it.
I'm not saying that Ethan Chapin's family has it easy. I'm just saying those parents still have 2 children, you know, of the same age and the same place in life where they have to still be there for. They still have to continue moving forward. They have to provide for them and be there for them. So it's a little... I'm sure the other victims had siblings as well, but it just, you know, nothing can
prepare a parent for this kind of just absolute catastrophe.
Nothing rivals this.
No, there is no making up for this. There's no real like winning or silver lining to any of it. Besides, I think the only silver lining you can think of now is I think they were saying that they were making some scholarships for the kids and making, I think, some donations for I think a farm that the triplets worked on or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like they're trying to do what they can posthumously, but yeah, there's no real making up for what happened.
Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. But I am interested to see this Netflix doc. I will be watching it when it comes out this week, and you guys let us know. Give it a view. Let us know what you think. I really don't think... I mean, I know Netflix has a lot of money. They have a lot of resources.
They do have money.
They do have a lot of money, a lot of resources, so maybe they can get access to some things that aren't out there. But seriously, guys, you hit Reddit, you hit YouTube, and there's so much information out there. I have linked as many sources as I could down below here, and I'm sure there's some that I forgot, but there is a Reddit post that literally has mapped out all of Kohberger's phone activity like the week of, like, or maybe it might even be months before, but it's like it's done out in a graph style. You can see every photo he took, where he was, every image he liked, everything, every text message he sent, every selfie, whatever, is laid out there. So you can kind of get a good idea. And it's just like, I don't see how you have all this information, all this, not to mention the DNA evidence on the sheath. I mean, yeah. And then the K-bar style knife matches the description of the wounds. Now, some people say, okay, well, and I watched a video about the coroner report, and I sat there and heard all the court documents about, all the different wounds on all the victims, right? It was brutal. And some people argue that the variation of wounds is too much for one weapon, maybe even for one person. I disagree. Yeah. A K-bar is an absolute multi-purpose machine. You can hit someone with the butt of it. You can hold the handle and punch somebody. It's going to harden your fist. Yeah. You can cut someone. You can stab someone. You can slice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much that this knife can do. And then you couple that with these victims trying to fight back. They're slinging their arms. They're kicking their legs. They're reacting to pain. They're twisting. They're turning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is how you get all these different types of wounds and and cuts and abrasions and all that. Like they said that some of these wounds were so deep, Andy, that the hand guard was imprinted on their skin and had made bruising. Yeah, the hand guard of the knife.
Yeah, that's how hard he was pressing or like stabbing into them.
Yes.
So
absolutely brutal, absolutely insane, guys. One of the most brutal killings we have ever covered on this case. Like, don't let the Netflix documentary, don't let all this censorship of today's world ruin it for you. And I mean ruin it, but like
dumb it down for you.
Don't let them dumb it down for you. Don't let them filter it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
it.
No, don't let them sugarcoat it. This is real things. This is real danger, and people need to learn from these. They need to learn from these scenarios. They do, because there's evil people out there. Like, it broke my heart when Dylan was talking to the police officer, and she's like, nothing happens in Moscow. Nothing happens here. Nothing bad. It's like,
had any of us ever heard of Moscow, Idaho before this?
Happen everywhere, though.
Yeah,
they do. They happen absolutely everywhere. But guys, that's our episode on Bryan Kohberger, on the Moscow murders, the Idaho murders, whatever Netflix is going to call it. But
he is away in prison now. He took that plea deal. He is locked away, which is always a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's in there. He's bitching. He's writing a bunch of letters to prison management and all these different organizations talking about how he's getting mistreated in prison. Can you believe that, Andy?
Oh,
people are saying threats to him in prison, Andy. Can you believe that?
After he admitted to slaughtering 4 people?
Sometimes people take his food, Andy. Can you believe that?
Not his cornbread.
No freaking way.
Took his cornbread?
Hell yeah, he took his cornbread. Give me that fucking cornbread, bitch.
Give me your cornbread.
But yeah, fuck Bryan Kohberger. I hope he's having a terrible time in prison. That's what you get, man. Like, what the fuck? You thought this was going to be the Holiday Inn?
No.
Like, it's like you wanted to subdue someone so you could have your way with them. Well, now you get to feel what that feels like.
Yeah. How the tables have turned.
How the turntables have Anyways, let's talk about Oh My Gaia.
Oh My Gaia, Michael. That's one of those things he could definitely use.
Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. And guys, you're in luck because you're True Crime Guys listeners, obviously. So you can use the code word Crimepine, just one word, CRIMEPINE, for 15% off your order at ohmygaia.com. That's OHMYGAIA.com. And there's tons of scents to choose from, guys. You got to check it out. There's a link right below the description of this episode, as well as a link to Patreon. Patreon.com/TrueCrimeGuys. You can hear all these episodes early, ad-free, with bonus content for just $3 a month. Also, I've been trying to post some other video behind the scenes, some extra content. I had a stepfather of one of the perpetrators of a recent case reach out to me on Instagram, and I shared that in a recent video on Patreon. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, that happens more often than I'd like. And a lot of times it's not really bad. A lot of times it's people correcting you, right? Yeah. It's people like, well, actually, it's like, well, how the hell would I possibly know that? Literally every source says this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't grow up with them.
Exactly. So a lot of times it's that, but it's refreshing when you get a positive message from a listener who happens to be involved in the case, and they're like, thank you for portraying this case in this way.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But guys, you can check that out and so much more on Patreon, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. But other than that, give us a follow on social media. Give us a follow on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. True Crime Guys, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, whatever podcast app you're on, please make sure you leave a rating, leave a review on there. It helps us so much. It really helps promote the show. It helps us bring in new listeners. And we appreciate it very much, guys. Well, next week, we'll have another True Crime Guys case, and I think it's headlines after that, Andy.
It is.
All right. Well, guys, until then, just keep on creeping, all right?
Bye.
Sold! Here are the keys to your new home. New beginnings sound exciting. From a new marriage to a new home, having access to legal help comes in handy. With Legal Shield, you can connect with a designated law firm that knows your state laws, helping with prenups, real estate contracts, and even wills and estate planning, starting around $1 a day. Legal Shield. Real lawyers, really affordable. For 10% off your annual subscription, sign up at LegalShield.com today. That's LegalShield.com. Legal Shield does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.